The Living Zen-podcast is a gift from the members and associates of the Victoria Zen Centre to you. If you enjoy it, please be sure to let your friends know about Living Zen. If you'd like to support our community, here are a few ways that you can do it. Download the Living Zen podcast app for iPod, iPhone, or Android. You can also purchase additional Zen Talks by Venerable Eshu on iTunes or Amazon.com. One of the most meaningful ways to show your support is by joining our Sangha as an associate. Your commitment of $10 a month will ensure that offerings like the Living Zen podcast and our online e-Zendo will continue to be available around the world to everyone with an interest in truly living Zen. To become an associate, please visit our website at www.zenwest.ca and click on the membership tab. Thank you for your support. Like ghosts, clinging to bushes and weeds. This is what Zen Master Muman said most people live their lives like. Ghosts, clinging to bushes and weeds. When we come into this meditation hall, it's very easy for us to think that we're going to do some kind of unusual thing, some kind of special practice. We're going to do meditation or do our spiritual practice. Zen practice is a practice of awakening, realizing who we truly are, how we go about living our lives. What happens in this meditation hall isn't different than what happens everywhere else in our lives. We just construct this environment, this contrived environment. We lay it out in a systematic way, and we support one another to pay attention. Wake up! This is one of the encouragements of Zen practice. Think about it. As we go through our lives, are we awake? When you make your breakfast in the morning, are you there? Or are you already 3/4 into the day? Or are you still rehashing what took place yesterday, or last week, or 5 years ago? Each and everything that we do in the meditation hall is an opportunity, an invitation for us to be born, to awaken, to come alive in this very moment. All these things seem insignificant, I think. How we hold our chant sheets, how we engage with practices like humming, simple vocal practice. Are we able to completely let go into it, completely dissolve into the sound, into our voice, into becoming one with the entire room full of people? Or are we holed up inside of our head, worried about this and that, wondering what it might mean? When we put our things away, when we straighten out our clothes or our chant sheets, does it matter? Are we careful with how we do things? Oh, don't go cramming now. It's not important. It's a mirror. This whole practice is a mirror. When we come into the meditation hall, it's not an opportunity for us to see something different. It's a way of us seeing who we are all the time. If we're careless in the Zendo, we're probably careless in our lives. If we use our voice half-heartedly in the Zendo, we're probably using our voice half-heartedly all the time. When we're unable to connect and manifest harmoniously with the people in front of us and behind us and around us in the Zendo, it may reflect that we have difficulties manifesting harmoniously with the people around us all the time. But it's not just the bad news. It's not just the hard stuff. This kind of formal practice has a beginning and an end. And if we engage in it on a regular basis, and if we become a part of a community that shares a common endeavor, then it's not just a mirror. It becomes a laboratory for us to explore, to experiment how we might go about living our lives differently. Rather than continuing to just be a ghost, mist in our lives, transparent, ethereal in our relationships, a partial parent, a partial employee, a partial student, a partial human being. This practice offers us the opportunity to dive in, to completely immerse ourselves in our lives. Rebirth. People always talk about Buddhism and talk about rebirth. For me, I'm not so interested in what happens after this body drops dead. Because for all too many of us, we haven't managed to be alive in this life. This is the focus of Zen practice. Not 20 years from now, or when I'm reborn as such and so, but this moment. What happens going forward from here? How do I manifest? So as we engage in these different forms, they're so simple. I think many of us say, oh yes, it would be so great to be able to be fully engaged in playing my instrument or doing my art or playing my sport or doing my job or helping people. But the question comes, if we can't be fully present when we're doing something as simple as humming, if we can't be fully present when we're just taking care of a little space, just what's around us, how will we ever be present in a complex human relationship? How can we ever take care of this world? It doesn't pop into existence complete out there later. It begins right here in this very moment with this simple practice. It starts with being completely present, giving yourself fully to just this next breath. Breathing in, breathing out. How do you manifest this activity of breathing? How do you manifest the activity of bowing? How do you manifest the activity of walking? How do you manifest? How do you manifest? How do you manifest? Over and over and over again. And in this controlled environment, we have an opportunity to see that sometimes we're able to get it right on. Sometimes we're able to completely fulfill this moment and come to completion in our activity. And it's wonderful. And sometimes we want to know what's for dinner. Sometimes we're wondering what's next. Sometimes we're making the list for what has to happen next week, or composing the letter to that jerk that pissed us off last week. Our practice is over and over again to wake up, to see how we are engaging with our lives, and to return to the unfolding dynamic of this moment, to meet it wholeheartedly, to engage with it completely, and to come alive. This is the function of our Zen practice. Okay. Thanks for listening to the Living Zen podcast. If you follow Living Zen through iTunes, I would very much appreciate it if you would take a moment to let me know what you think about it by rating or reviewing the podcast, so that new listeners can also hear what you have to say. Thank you for your time and for your support.